I've been doing more thinking on the video I shared not so long ago in regards to the court case that I would like to be pushed forward in regards to claiming back my £18,000 that was stolen from me, unlawfully that is. And if there is any interest in regards to this case, I'm more than happy to try that again. I am more than happy to discuss percentages. Me personally, I could live off £9,000. In other words, I'm more than happy to go 50-50 on the 18,000 that so happens to be fought for within the court of law, because I know within my heart and mind that £9,000, my half as you will, I can make back however many folds over within 360 odd days. I believe it's 360 odd, in other words a whole year. And there we have it. So if there is any interest regarding this case, I'm going to leave it within his hands, and if anyone so happens to come forward, like I said, by all means, if you see me along my travels, you're welcome to stop me and talk to me in person. And like I said, in order to get more attention on this, civil case, as you will, this matter, I'm more than happy to go halves. I'm more than happy to split it down the middle. I mean, chances are that it could well cost more than £9,000 within solicitor fees and only God knows what else. But, if that's the case, I'm sure the courts will actually work on something. Because I know, like I said, going on biblical scripture via the 10 commandments, judgements and statutes, I used my free will, right, to make a living, honestly that is, by putting stakes down out of goodwill. Those, however, that use these apps, or as I'd like to call them, CEOs of these apps, they abuse their free will to rig every single game in order to take back that full 18,000 that is rightfully mine. Therefore, they are in breach of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not steal. And the reason why I want to make this a court case is due to the fact that I did offer them the choice to resolve this like grown-ass adults over a settlement and a handshake, but they're still adamant within their own ways. They're still allowing their own greed to rule their head and their heart. In other words, they've gone and pushed the wrong person. By all means, there's many people out there that are pretty much afraid to speak up against all of this, yeah? Not me. And I am going to take it to court, like I said. It's the only way that I know this is only going to be resolved. Assuming, of course, I get a judging panel that so happens to within their heart and mind know just exactly where I'm coming from and how seriously I take the gospel word over the very presence of man and woman. There's plenty to go around, like I said, for everyone, right? But yet, These people, on the other hand, they want more. They're never satisfied with what they get, therefore they want more. They want more. And if they quite literally have to throw people under the bus to actually get finance that does not belong to them, that I am not going to tolerate. That right there is theft. Thou shalt not steal. It's unfortunate that there are some family members out there that fell victim, to these loan sharks, as you will, right? As I'd like to call them. Or better yet, sharks, even, on that note. That so happened to commit suicide. Or because they were struggling to pay bills, to support their families, put food on the table, as well as do their day-to-day routines, as you will, right? That's not me. I don't care how challenging and how difficult my life gets. You best be prepared, like I said, to have a watertight case based upon evidence that so happens to prove the Bible wrong as well as irrelevant. Because unlike each and every one of you, I have the Holy Spirit. I also have spiritual discernment. I have a conscience, along with common sense, knowledge, wisdom and logic. While they're not always the sharpest tools, I'm getting there. And if you have all of these things, then I can guarantee any of you watching this video now, those that try to fight within the court of law to prove the gospel as being irrelevant and non-truthful, for that matter, they're going to be in for one rude awakening when they are hit, and they are hit hard financially, that is. Because it's not just me that they're going to be paying back, but it's also those that are no longer here to fight their cases within the court of law due to suicide. Rather, the people watching this video are now also going to stand up and use their voice to do the exact same. And as a matter of fact, I would highly recommend that they do the same. Because one thing I've learned within today's society is if people keep quiet when they're treated disrespectfully and disgracefully, and they are forced to keep quiet, the more the world will actually in fact take them for granted. And the only way that people are going to win in life is by speaking up, whether the world likes it or not. The hell with it. If it hurts people's feelings and emotions, so be it. Because unlike this world, I don't go on feelings and emotions. I might go on frustration and wrath. They're the only two things I do go on. And every once in a while, and every blue moon, you might see me with a little bit of joy here and there, along with happiness. But other than that, mostly wrath and frustration. And why is that? Because when you've been taken for granted all of your life by deadbeats that actually think they're going about life the right way, you have no choice but to put on the full body armour of God, to pick up that double-edged sword along with the shield of faith, in order to fight your own battles, that is, within the court of law. If and whenever it's necessary it's the only way these, circus clowns are actually going to learn a valuable life lesson. That you don't go around living double-minded lives. In other words, you don't go around doing evil and then expect, beautiful and elevating things from the gospel to work in your lives. That right there is nothing short from insolence. It's also hypocrisy at its finest. And God does not reward degeneracy, nor reprobate-like behaviours within people. He can, however, use any said bad choices and decisions that people have made in order to get them closer to Him, biblically that is. And there it is. So there we have it. If there is any interest in this case, I'm more than happy to split that 18,000 down the middle, 50-50, 9,000 and 9,000 to whoever is actually in fact on the case, as a token of gratitude for fighting my case and getting that finance back for me. Because like I said, even on £9,000 alone, I know I could flip that day in, day out throughout the 360 odd years, right? Days, sorry, within the year. And I can keep that going. And if I have to, I will sign up to every single gambling site I know. And I will even sign up on the gambling sites that think are fooling me by denying and violating my free will, by choosing to abuse their free will by self-excluding my account. I'm not going to go into how I'm going to sign back up on their accounts, because I so happen to know just exactly how to bypass, the law that they so happen to abuse in order to keep their jobs unlawfully. And I will use it to my advantage, like I said, in order to bypass the code that they have going upon their platforms under a completely different identity, different bank accounts, linked to a different address. Leaving not even an inkling of evidence for them to click on to the fact that it is actually in fact me. See, these clowns don't even realise, right? They think they're fooling me, right? But in actuality, I'm fooling them. Because, like I said, I have the ability to play people too. Do I like going down this path? No, not particularly. But if I have to prove a point that I'm quite literally 10,000 steps ahead of these clowns, then so be it. I will prove that point. And it's only going to leave them, hepped up, as you will, full of rage, and only God knows what otherworldly programmed emotion and feeling. And this is what happens when you think that you're going about life the right way, when in actuality you never were and never have been. That is not a threat, it is a promise. And let me let each and every one of you into a little secret. don't intellectually challenge someone that you don't quite understand. Because like I said, we so happen to know the law better than the law so happens to know itself. And we'll have no problem manipulating the law against itself until a great, monumental collapse happens and there is nothing left. To support these businesses, other than the breadcrumbs that they may well have stored away over the atlas, as you will, that they've quite literally shuffled within troves out of greed, and only God knows what else. And this is what I've come to realise, and this is why, me personally, I'm not all that much of a people person. There's plenty to go around, like I said. But yet, the world always wants more. It wants more, it wants more, it wants more, and it will stop at nothing until it takes everything. Even if it means throwing people under the bus that so happen to go about life the right way, without thinking of the punishments nor consequences that are going to catch up to them soon enough. And it will happen. And I see it quite a lot within people. Through their expressions, their body language, and the way that they portray themselves onto me on a whole. And if that's not God's way in saying, I'm witnessing everything that you say and do, and if you attack my adopted family members, I will pass you over to your false gods and false idols to do as they please with you. And it's not going to be pretty. And this will lead people to a rude awakening, a spiritual awakening, where their eyes are wide open, their brains expand, and their hearts forever grow and evolve, thus ultimately making said people bigger than the universe and space themselves combined together. Pure memory. And if you think an Apple Mac with a 64 gigabyte of RAM and say a terabyte for a hard drive is actually in fact big memory in comparison to what a human holds, man, I'm telling you now, people have seriously got some growing up to be doing, because you really and truly have no idea just how powerful a human being really and truly is. Assuming, of course, if that power is actually used and used for the right reasons, to actually help not only make the world a better place according to the gospel, rather to help those that receive, a horrible way of wording it, the shit end of the stick. It's a given fact. Like I said, everything is within chronological and alphabetical order, the way that it was originally created by God himself, thus ultimately including natural disasters. And it's natural disasters, technically speaking, that punish the world for their degeneracy, along with reprobate-like behaviours. Like I said, a lot of people laugh and joke now, thinking they're getting away with what they're getting away with, but little did they know, they never were and never have been getting away with what they think they are actually in fact getting away with. Rather, they've been digging themselves a great big hole that they are forever going to take years to climb back out of. Real talk. talk. Truth be told, it's a wrap.